Ladies and gents, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about something that I think has been... It's been annoying a lot of people recently, but they've not really been able to put it into words, or not many people have been putting it into words, and that is the state of AAA gaming right now. I think it's quite safe to say that AAA gaming has gone completely down the pan, for the most part. There's still a few gems in there, but over the last year, 2 years, I've seen nothing but disastrous releases from new games, and trust me, I'm not trying to be negative about this. You know, it's where some of the top games have come from over the years. It's where some of the top favourites have come from, such as Skyrim, which in itself was a bit of a mess, but still it was a glorious mess. Well, over the last 2 years, we've seen nothing but just really bad releases, and I'll be honest, I can't think of the last time a good game came out that I purchased that I was happy with. For example, this all started with New World. New World was something that I can't even pretend I wasn't excited for. You guys know that I was. You know that I was excited for it. I frequently mentioned it, and I was optimistic, let's say. I knew there was a chance something could go wrong here with it being Amazon, but I had faith that this would be the time they fix it. This would be the time they get it right. Boy, was I wrong about that. And sure, eventually they released some patches months and months down the line that kind of addressed some of the issues. But I think for a game that cost what it cost, having day one, week one, month one issues where you can exploit HTML code in the chat, you can play sound effects directly on someone else's game. These are just things that are unheard of, and the fact that you could put ginormous sausage pictures, not like that, in the chat is pretty damn alarming. That any of this is possible, along with all the dupes, the exploits, the mass reporting of other groups to be able to get them banned before you can even get into a combat, like, you know, a war situation with them. It's all pointless. And that's not even to mention Halo. Moving on to Halo, something that I was genuinely excited for. That was a mess, and we will talk about that after a quick word from our longtime sponsor of this channel, Brilliant. As anyone in the tech world knows, if you're not getting ahead by building new skills, you're falling behind. AI was once thought to be the future, but it's actually a very present technology. To be part of the next tech revolution, you need to understand the core concepts behind AI, neural networks, and machine learning. The best place to learn these skills is Brilliant.org. Brilliant is a fantastic way to learn maths and computer science interactively and enjoyably, and that's why they've been the sponsor of this channel for over a year now, because throughout that time I've been using it religiously. Their lessons are bite-sized and simple enough that remembering the information from them is a breeze. Brilliant has thousands of lessons ranging from foundational and advanced maths to AI and data science, with new lessons added monthly. One course I would highly recommend is Algorithm Fundamentals. In a constantly evolving tech landscape, this is one course that will keep you ahead of the curve. To try everything Brilliant has for free, for a full 30 days, visit brilliant.org/Callum Upton. The first 200 of you will get 20% off the annual premium subscription of Brilliant, or click the link in the description or pinned comment. Again, a massive thank you to Brilliant for sponsoring today's video. Now, if we dive into Halo, there's a lot that angers me. Again, many of you will know that I am a big Halo fan. I love Halo. Halo Infinite, in their own words, in 343's own words, was meant to be a 10-year consecutive running game of Halo. They just keep updating, adding new things, doing this, doing that. And it was possibly one of the messiest releases I've seen for a game that I care about in a pretty damn long time. I mean, let's look at it like this. Week of launch, non-stop server issues. They didn't have enough servers to handle the load of all the players that joined. And it wasn't, I mean, it was a lot of players. Launch day comes around and, you know, servers are dying left, right, and center. So I'm like, I'm not going to play a multiplayer game. I'm going to go play campaign with a friend. No, you're not, Callum, because that feature that was meant to be there on release got ripped out a week prior because it didn't work. Great. So, you know, something that is, to a lot of people, the main selling point of the game just isn't there, along with Forge, which was another main selling point that just wasn't there on release, even though it was supposed to be. You know, back when we first pre-ordered it, it was supposed to be there. So you've got the two staples of the Halo franchise, two staple features that just aren't there on release. And those continue to not be there for months. Like, we're talking 3 to 4 months, maybe 6 months, I think, for multiplayer campaign, which is just nuts to me. That's game suicide. That is sabotaging of your own game on launch. You've sandbagged it. And that's not even talking about the fact that big team battles, some people's favourite game mode, which is where it's 8 versus 8, didn't work. And it didn't work for a solid month and a half until they finally say they fixed it. Then it wasn't fixed. It was just more broken, if anything. There was a bigger desync between players on the network. And it's just, yeah, it's trash. So they remove it entirely for a month until they can re-release it. And now it seems better. Not great, but better. There's been a lot of times where two vehicles have drove past each other on my screen, but I've seen them collide by not touching. There's a lot of issues still. But all that pales in comparison to the now announcement that Halo is moving to Unreal Engine 4. They've just straight up decided that the Slipspace engine that they spent years building for Halo Infinite just doesn't work. The networking is atrocious, and that's pretty much it. The networking is the only real reason from what I can tell. But you now need to realise that all of this means that the people who bought the game for an absurd price on release, because it was meant to be a 10-year rolling, continuously updated game with updated campaign, but we've not had a single campaign update. There's nothing. Imagine it being like buying a game with the promise that you get the first 3 or 4 DLC free with it, except this time it's the first 10 years of DLC. That's a great deal. Until you realise you're not going to get any of those extra things, and I'm not going to lie, it annoyed me and quite a few other people. And it's sad to say this because this really just shows how bad this situation has got with other games. I still frequently play Halo Infinite because it's kind of like you pick your poison, right? It's the best of a bad bunch right now. And we're seeing this trend continue with the recent release of Redfall from Bethesda. The release of Redfall by Bethesda from Arcane Studios. I don't even know what to say to this. I didn't buy it because it looked crap. And then when it came out, it was so bad that I didn't even have that consideration of, I can make a video on it because it's really bad. I just thought, I'm not wasting my money on that. It's not even worth the meme because it's that bad. For those who don't know, Redfall's like an open world, sort of survival, adventure, vampire hunting thing, right? Except they seem to remember to build an open world space, but they forgot to put any enemies in it. I have seen multiple playthroughs of this on Twitch on day of release, and it was just disappointing. It felt like a reskin of a game engine template. And I don't really know how to explain that other than it seems like it had ideas of features that could be added, and they implemented the mechanics for it, but then they just forgot to place them anywhere in the game. And it's just really disappointing to see, because not that I even cared about this game, and to be honest, they knew it was going to flop before it even released, as Bethesda went round DMCAing and taking down any Twitter pictures to do with Redfall the week of release. And they messed up so bad, by the way, in doing this, they actually took down their own Twitter's stuff. And yeah, that's just 3 games. And of course you have the new Star Wars game that came out that nobody on a top-end computer can get it to run at even like 45 FPS at the best of times. I, again, personally know multiple people that bought it and cannot get it to run at even near a stable frame rate. Which is kind of troubling when you consider that it's a big title with a big IP. And we're just paying these... I mean, don't forget, the price of games for AAA have gone up so much in the last 5 years. Do you remember when a game charged... I think it was a Call of Duty game. It might have been Black Ops or Modern Warfare or something. About 5 or 10 years ago, charged £35 in the UK, which was unheard of. At this point, games were never above £30. And they were just like, we're doing £35. And then King Kong comes out and it's like, I'm £40. And you're looking around like, bro, what? No one even knows who you are. And you're £40 as a game. Why? But it's just crept up and up and up and up to the point now where Most people who would have bought maybe a game every month, every 2 months, now buy a game 2, maybe at a push 3 times a year. So your decision making is weighed in on much more nowadays with these games. So finding a disappointing game is now infinitely more upsetting and more disheartening than it used to be. And I think this is why we're seeing such a big response to this trend of making really broken AAA games that honestly are sometimes unplayable. Yeah, they only need to convince you to do it twice a year now, for the most part. And just to put this into perspective, I'm not saying I'm not asking the world when it comes to these AAA games. I'm just asking that they are not broken, they are fun and enjoyable. I mean, this year I have played 2 games in particular that I can easily say were some of the best games to come out in recent years. And they didn't cost much. They didn't cost the world. They weren't this bank-breaking experience that I was iffy about. It was just throw a couple of pounds at it here and there and just enjoy it. Game number 1, Vampire Survivors. My God, have I enjoyed the hell out of that. And you guys who've watched me on stream know that that is the case. Game number 2, Factorio. I lost a week of my life straight. A straight week of my life to that game. And it's fun. It was cheap. It was fun. And I still come back and play it every couple of weeks with a friend and just hang out. It's fun. It's not pretending to be this AAA experience because it doesn't need to be. It's more than that. I've got more hours out of this game, which means I've got more value out of it than something like Redfall. And a third one, which I'm sure you guys all knew was coming, Magic the Gathering Arena. I've been playing a load of that recently, and I've not been paying for anything on it, just to clarify. I've been playing the game completely free and just enjoying it. Something we're going to start seeing very soon is the fact that people are unwilling to pay for these AAA experiences when there's just more things they could be doing. Better games they could be playing. Look at this. Today they announced that Overwatch 2 was being basically nipped in the bud, right? They're not going to make the PvE mode for it anymore, which, if you remember rightly, was the only thing different between Overwatch 1 and 2, realistically. People go, oh, they balanced characters. Yeah, they've been doing that in Overwatch 1 for years, and they didn't need a massive new game for you to buy that was identical for them to do that. So they've just taken away the actual reason that most people bought Overwatch 2, because they didn't buy it for it being Overwatch 2. It was the same as Overwatch 1. So companies are just milking a lot of these big AAA titles recently, and it's I'm going to be honest, I don't think this is going to end well for a lot of these companies because a lot of faith and goodwill is being expended here. Nobody really likes the way this is going down, and I am one of them. I would actually be really interested to hear what you guys have to say about this, and I want to start covering more of the indie scene, and this is starting next month, actually, at the very start of next month. As I'm actually going to be flying out to, I can't say where yet because I don't want to give away who this is, but I'm flying out to see an indie MMO game studio. I'm going to be spending 3 days there, hanging out with the team, interviewing them, and I've actually purchased a lot of proper expensive out-in-the-field camera equipment so that I can start doing more of these traveling documentaries to do with game development, seeing new places, meeting people that are in the industry, and just generally making more of the videos on this channel. I'd be really interested to hear your guys' opinion on this. Definitely let me know down in the comments below, and let's carry on the discussion down there, because while I understand that people try to defend these AAA disasters and say, well, it's bad, but you give them money and then they'll fix it later. They've got the money to fix it now. And it's kind of like, I'd understand that from an indie, but not from a AAA. Anyway, ladies and gents, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment down below, leave a like, and until next time, as always, take care.